Hello and welcome back. I am Dr. Diane Craig, and this is Too Soon to Stop, the How to Reinvent Yourself channel at any age. At the age of 64 and with over 30 years of emergency medicine, I am looking for new ways to impact and help others while I help myself. I am so happy to be with you today. I hope that you are growing just like I am and becoming a better version of yourself. So let's get started, shall we? I recently had a deep conversation with one of my family members. I am blessed with a very large family. I was upset with this particular member. A few years ago, she had called me up crying about how unfair she was being treated by her employer at the time. She felt they were insensitive and uncaring toward her, yet expected her to get all of her work done. I knew that this was not her dream job and offered to help her by giving her an opportunity to advance herself and get more training so that she could torpedo herself into a career of her dreams. She quickly and graciously accepted. She tried my suggestion for a while. However, despite saying she wanted the chance, she was not ready to truly commit and simply walked away from the opportunity. I had sacrificed a lot to give her the incredible opportunity and was very hurt and disappointed. I felt that she had squandered a great chance to advance herself and was not appreciative of what I had done for her. As a result, unfortunately, this put a strain on our relationship for several years. One of the many lessons that I am learning through Too Soon to Stop is keeping things real and searching for my truth. This means that I cannot hold grudges and expect to move forward. So I called her up and apologized and asked her forgiveness, not focused on what I had sacrificed, but instead of the wrong that I had done because I had kept a bad attitude toward her for so long and allowed this to put a strain on our relationship for years. This act helped heal a relationship that had been strained for several years. I have learned that when you apologize, it is very important not to make excuses. Saying things like, I wouldn't have done this if you hadn't done that. This is not the time for that. Simply take ownership and apologize. Whatever perceived wrong or infraction you feel has happened is not important at this time. The goal is total forgiveness and reuniting. You do not have to become a doormat, but realize that people make mistakes. It is all part of looking at human nature realistically. The most important thing is to be unified and stand in your truth. This, of course, makes God very happy. This also applies to yourself. We also have made plenty of mistakes, and if you're anything like me, you beat yourself up regularly because you are less than perfect. You know that dreaded trifecta of regret. I could have done this. I should have said that. I would have got that done if only ... The only perfect person who walked the earth died over 2,000 years ago. The brutal way that you speak to yourself would never be tolerated if it were someone else doing it to you. Imagine someone showing up at your front door on a daily basis to say things that you allow to be said to yourself on a regular basis. They are there to point out every little mistake, shortcoming, mess up, and tell you what a total loser you are. This unwelcome visitor knocks on your front door every day and spouts off all the put-downs and all the ridicules that you say to yourself. You would slam the door in their face, call the police if they came back, and unfriend them from all your social media, as well as erase them from your contact list. You might even threaten them bodily harm if they did not leave you alone. Yet you tolerate negative self-talk from yourself on a regular basis. You don't even realize you're doing it because it is so deeply ingrained in your character that you habitually engage in this self-destructive behavior, even in ways that may not seem consequential, but most definitely are. Things like calling yourself stupid or dumb is a major part of this. Sound familiar? That negativism carries on throughout your day, chips away at your self-esteem and confidence in yourself. It is no longer necessary to look to others to put you down. You are most expert at doing it all by yourself with no need for help from others. Then you want to be a victim. It is very important that you do not allow the negative self-talk. Be on the lookout for it. I have been in counseling several times, and this is one of the many lessons that I have been taught in one of my sessions. Train yourself to quickly get rid of it. Now, here is a major, mind-blowing, drop the mic moment. Are you ready? Are you listening carefully? Okay, here goes. Negative self-talk has no authority over you. It is simply a thought that you do not have to accept or acknowledge as truth. It talks with authority that it does not have, nor never did have. Take back your power. Realize that your past mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow to become the best version of you. Don't let mistakes lead you to a feeling of shame and chip away at your confidence. You are far too precious for that. The world is waiting to see you become the best version of you so that we can all have a better and safer place to enjoy. Did you know that when you are thinking of negative things, you are being unspiritual? Read Philippians 4, verses 8 through 9. This scripture emphasizes the importance of thinking of positive things. This is God's desire for you. So think happy thoughts. It may sound cheesy, but is God cheesy? Most definitely not. In fact, take this one step further and help others to feel better about themselves as well. Small positive comments and hello with a smile, even if it's behind your mask because of COVID, will take someone a long way. You never know what challenges they are having, and you can be a positive force in their life to help them without realizing how much of an impact you had on them. In the book of Hosea in the Bible, who is one of the minor prophets, it talks about forgiving and not allowing yourself to be a victim. Hosea's wife, Gomer, was unfaithful to him and had children by other men as a result. God wanted Hosea to forgive her and take her back because God wanted to teach him lessons that would help others. He had to tell her firmly that he expected her not to be unfaithful to him and to stay in their home to be his wife and a mother to their children. I am sure this was very difficult for Hosea, but listening to God sometimes is. He had to accept that God wanted to use his obedience and devotion as well and had no right to ask Gomer to do the same if he was not willing to do it for God. He knew Gomer was in sin, but still had to forgive her in order to please God and allow God to use him in whatever way God wanted to. Likewise, I had to accept the fact that I had to forgive even though there was sin on the other person's part as well. This acted as a stumbling block that kept me feeling like a victim for years, and I could not move on. It was not until someone had sinned against me and later came to apologize, different situation, that I realized that it was time for me to do the same. Funny how God uses circumstances and people who seem totally unconnected. You may want to say that it was a coincidence. God, however, orchestrated the whole thing, and you will miss it and miss out if you are not paying attention and tune into seeking God's will. I do not know God's full plan for me. I really do believe this is why God gives us children. As a parent, you cannot totally explain everything and all the details of your plans for your children that you deeply love, but nonetheless still expect obedience and devotion. It is the same with our relationship with God. If your child is rebellious, you are less inclined to want to serve them, but you do because you are the responsible adult in the relationship. Self-pity and doubting God's love for us leads us down a rebellious path as well. God, who allows us free will and deeply wants to have a relationship with us, uses people and circumstances to lead us back to Him. We have to be self-aware and listen to His direction. Without a heart that desires to listen and please God, your growth is stunted and you cannot learn the lesson that God is trying to teach you. You will not be able to move to the next level. As an emergency room physician for over 3 decades, when a patient is about to die, there's always the same question that's asked over and over again. Where is your family? We do our best to get the family members that want to be present at the bedside for the last moments of their loved one's life. I have found that who comes and how many are available is a true testament on how the patient has lived their lives. Sometimes, sadly, the patient dies alone because no one cares enough to come and be with them. This is when we have someone sit at their bedside so that they do not have to die alone. I know this is sad, but I also want to make a point that it is so important to live your life to the fullest every day and not take family members or anything for granted. Tomorrow is not promised. Old age is a privilege denied to many. Till next time, praying for your success and wishing you the very best.